Alright, so we're going to make a sticker in Coreldraw. Wait, so this is just a resource online. There's lots of free vector art websites, but Vecteezy is nice to use. So I'm going to look up a cartoon wizard here. Make sure you select vectors, and then you want the pictures with free licenses. And then just kind of scroll through, see if you can find something that you like. I'm going to use this one right here. And then all I have to do is click on the free download window, and the download will start, and it'll put it up into my downloads folder there in the browser. So what you want to do is click on that, and because this is stuck in a folder that's zipped up, we have to extract out the pieces. And some of these will have files like EPS that are great for using in Coreldraw, and then sometimes they'll just be a JPEG, but either way, if it's a vector, we can do quite a bit of work with it. Alright, so here I'm just going to start a new Corel document. This is a 3x3, and then I'm going to right click with my mouse, and I'm going to import this picture. So you have to go into your downloads folder, and it should be the version of it that doesn't have the little zipper on it. So that's the one we unzipped. You can click on that and open it, and I'll show you how to do this with both files, but if you have the option for an EPS, you can skip one of these steps. So I'm going to insert this EPS as curves because there's no text in it, and then you just click to place it, and then I'm going to resize it so that it fits in my 3x3 inch working space. Okay, and then I'll show you how this works with a JPEG too. So the JPEG will go in as an image, and that image won't have vector lines. So you can see how the vector has lines around the drawing and the JPEG doesn't. So we need to add those, and you can do that here in Corel by using the trace bitmap feature. And for most of these, a detailed logo is plenty. And then you just have to let the software run. Sometimes it'll take 30 seconds or a couple minutes depending on how complex your image is. Okay, and now see I have a copy that has lines. So no matter where you get your picture from, whether it's a JPEG or you find one that has an EPS, you can get the lines. And the reason that we do that is because we want to be able to edit this. Okay, so maybe I don't want to have a blue wizard, right? So first thing I have to do is break it apart. So using that tool in the top toolbar, and then I can delete the background. Okay, and now what I can do, because I've broken each individual box of the vector apart, is I can go in here and change the color. So I think I'm going to do a green wizard instead of a blue one. Okay, and so I'm just going to select a couple colors from the bar on the side. You could also go down to the paint can in the bottom right and search through the entire palette. Okay, but I'm just going to use these two shades of green. And then notice I can go down. On the bottom here, there's a bar of commonly used colors or colors that you just used, so I don't have to remember which ones I used. And I think I'm going to change his beard, make it a little whiter, make him look like a little bit of an older wizard. Okay, and then I think I'll change the little ball on top of his staff to a different color. And this is all things you can do with your image, or you can leave your image the way it is. It's completely up to you. Okay, and now the next step, what we want to do, one of two things. You can make a sticker that has just a circle or a square around it and a white background with your image, or you can use your image as a tool to cut out your sticker. Okay, so what I did here is I highlighted all of the parts. Okay, and I could group them back together, but before I do that, I want to click on this button here at the top called Create Boundary. And what that does is it gives me just an outline of all of the things that are in that vector. Okay, and now I'll group them back together because I don't want to accidentally move one of the pieces. Okay, so here what I'm doing, I'm just drawing a circle around it. And remember, if you want to center items in Coreldraw, you hit the letter P. Okay, so if I'm not certain if that's perfectly in the center or it's sitting off to the side like this, remember you just hit the letter P. and it'll center both parts on the page. Okay, and then what I'm going to do is change this to that cut contour color, so it's that pink color, and then I have to make certain that it is a hairline, okay, because a lot of times it'll default to 0.5, and I just want to change that to hairline so that the cutter knows where to travel on the Roland. Okay, and then I'm going to do the same thing for this outline, and I'm going to show you both ways how this works. Okay, again, I'm checking to make sure that it's a hairline cut contour. Okay, so now I have these two options. I could cut out the circle, or I can try to kind of center this over here, and this is where that P on the keyboard comes in handy, right? I can select both items, hit P, and it will center them back around each other. Now I have that little border, and so then my sticker will cut out in the shape of the wizard. So once I'm done with all that, I'm going to go to File, Export. Okay, and I want to export this as an EPS. Okay, and I'm just going to put it in my Documents folder. And then down here you want to make sure your Save As type, your export type, is EPS. Remember, that's the language that the vinyl cutter speaks in. Okay, make sure you give it a title so you know whose is whose. Then you're going to hit Export. Okay, and then you want to just make sure that your output color is RGB, and the rest of those settings you can leave. Then hit OK. Okay, and then from here what you're going to do is put this in the Dropbox on Google Classroom. So here's our Dropbox. Remember, to do this, you just hit the New button, you do a file upload, and then you go into that Documents folder where we put our EPS, and then I'm going to click on my EPS and upload it. And then from here we can open it up on the vinyl cutter, and we can print and cut it out.